Hello, everybody. On today's show, Don Lemon breaks the silence over his CNN firing. Nick Cannon is floating. I meant gloating. Sorry. He is gloating over the red table talk being canceled. Sheree and Marlo come from Miss Kandi. We might be getting the verses between Little Kim and Nicki Minaj. And Patti LuPone and Sharon Stone have some choice words over Kim Kardashian's upcoming acting gig. The rundown starts right now. That was the music for the other show, by the way. But anyway, welcome to the Rundown, a weekly show where we talk about all things in entertainment news and hot topics. I don't know what is going on, but apparently my computer is on a delay. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be an issue where I'm out of sync and this and the third. Let me refresh again. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hello. Okay. Well, hopefully we can hope for the best. I won't be paying attention too much to my face much in this episode. But if I'm able to continue to do the show, I'm going to continue to do the show. But anyway, there's a lot going on. We got a lot of hot topics we're going to be getting to, including we have some news on, I got an update on Noah's Ark, because last week we did the whole situation on Noah's Ark and everything that was going on with that, but we got an update. We have some news on what's been going on a little bit in politics regarding a couple of talking heads who lost their jobs this week. We got some tea on Sunny Hostin going in on Nutmeg McCain over some comments she said that the View was a toxic work environment. We got a lot of talk show news. Red Table Talk lauding the fact that Jada Pinkett is unemployed over at Facebook. We got some tea on Usher. We got Marlo Hampton, Real Housewives of Atlanta news. Giudice and some stuff going on with her, and a follow up from the thing we did see, and a whole lot more. So hopefully y'all will stick around with us throughout the show with all the tea that we have coming up. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into things. So before we get into the main stuff, what I wanted to talk about was we had a couple of celebrity deaths this week, and condolences go out to Lynn Goodman, Harry Belafonte, and Jerry Springer. Now, Harry Belafonte, I was aware of him because having parents who are older, you start learning a lot of things about what I. Listening to older music, this, that, and the third. So I was introduced to Harry Belafonte that way. Like, my father wasn't playing a lot of Harry Belafonte, but I was aware of who he was because I knew he was a civil rights leader as well. So condolences to him, from, because he passed away. I don't know exactly what he passed away from, but I had heard that he died. Then I had heard about, Len Goodman. See, I didn't really watch Dancing with the Stars last season. I was in the midst of going to watch it because, Shangela was on the show, so that was the reason why I was watching it. But the reason why I didn't stick it out, I don't know. For some reason, it just wasn't gelling with me over on when it was on Disney Plus. I couldn't really get into it. I didn't really care about a lot of the people's on there. But then what made me not really watch the show was because Shangela and Gleb basically posted their performance on Instagram. So that's how I watched their performances. I didn't really watch. I was like, okay, so I don't really need to watch the show because I didn't care about everybody else that was on there. Quiet as it's kept. So that was the only reason why I watched. I was like, well, I don't know why they won't just do a Dance with the Stars with drag queens, but that's neither here nor there. Maybe I should be giving people my ideas. But anyway, so I didn't know he was sick because until someone posted in my comments when I posted that he had died. They were like, "Oh, he did seem like he was a bit under the weather when he was doing the show." So when he basically was like, "I'm retiring, I'm going to step away and spend time with my family, my grandkids, and this that, and the other," that was probably a clear indication that he knew that he was sick, and so he wanted to spend those moments with his children. I don't know if it was the big C that he was sick from, but because I don't remember off the top of my head what he was, what was the situation. But yeah, I was kind of surprised to hear that he had passed away because I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna retire, he's gonna live out his golden years. And I believe that they were kind of ushering in Derek Huff to replace him, which I thought was a perfect person to be his replacement because Derek Huff knows what it's like to be on that show and to perform and all that other stuff. So he's aware of what to do. So kudos to him for you know, getting that gig, but my heart goes out to Lincoln. But I actually liked him because he was a no nonsense type of person. He wasn't willing to, sugarcoat things with a lot of people that was on the show. He didn't give a damn if you booed him or not. So I love that about Len. And then last but certainly not least, I was pleasantly surprised about Jerry Springer passing away. I wasn't expecting to hear something like that this week. But then when I got the alert from my group chat that I have that people were like, Jerry Springer died, I'm like, really? So that was shocking. When I posted up online, it was like, yeah, he passed away. And then people started sharing their memories. Look, Jerry Springer was my childhood. Um, I grew up on Jerry Springer, watching his show faithfully when I was a kid growing up. And yeah, all the stuff that was on there, a lot of people say he was problematic and he exploited black people, he exploited trailer park people, he exploited a lot of people. But here, look, during that time, it was all about exploitative TV. People were willing to do anything. And this is the era before there was social media and everybody wanted their 15 minutes of fame, which is something that Andy Warhol put out there in the universe long before there was the internet, long before there was a Jerry Springer. He was out here saying that everybody's going to have their 15 minutes of fame. And yeah, going on that show, that was like a notch on your belt if you went on Jerry Springer. So when people say that, oh, he was just exploiting people, first of all, this country was a whole hot ass mess long before Jerry Springer got a hold of it. So to sit there and solely blame him on why the world is problematic and blah, 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 that's a bunch of BS. And I'm not buying into it. So shout out to him. Condolences to all their families. And yeah, that's that. So moving right along, another story that I wound up getting wind of. This is like some breaking news that I saw earlier. And kudos to Michael Musto for this story because it came out earlier today. And I was gonna hit production up with this bit of news, but I was like, I'm gonna just spring it on it. He already had a lot going on, so I was like, let me not add any more to the plate. So remember that there was a story going around that Wendy Williams is doing a podcast, and then she wasn't doing a podcast. Now she's doing a podcast again, and it kept going kind of like podcast hopscotch. Like we didn't know if she was doing one, we didn't know if she was doing one. So Michael Musso is reporting that, well, first of all, let's get to the thing before the podcast. So remember that she was someone that she was trying to sell a bunch of her personal belongings, including that iconic purple chair. Well, apparently, word on the curb is she is contacted New York City producer, entrepreneur, promoter. Well, I should say producer slash entrepreneur slash promoter, Daniel Nardicio, and he's gonna plan on helping her by setting her up with some of his connections. But also, what I gagged about hearing was the fact that Nardicio is also talking to Wendy about the possibility of her doing a regular podcast at his Red Eye Club, which I've been saying to y'all is the old Esquilita right by the Port Authority. So, she's been talking about doing the podcast. She's been talking about trying to find a home. Daniel Nardicio heard her, and he's really good at harboring talent and bringing them in and giving them a platform. I should also point out that I too have been having conversations with Daniel Nardicio. When I saw that he had posted on his social media in the stories that he's looking to bring people in to do a podcast at Red Eye, and I happen to be friends with him, so I hit him up. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into it." He was like, "Oh, definitely love to have me be a part of that whole Red Eye family." And based on everything that he's doing over there, it is definitely something I'm considering, and something I'm not considering. I am gonna do it. We have to have the conversation, negotiations, all that other stuff. So definitely, you may be seeing Chris Avalon unfiltered at Red Eye. The great thing about Red Eye is that um, the podcast is recorded in front of a live audience. So while I'm doing the podcast, y'all can actually come sit in and watch as it's all happening and be a part of the audience. So it's like a podcast type slash talk show, which I actually love. I love the whole idea of doing something in front of, like, getting that energy and the roar of the crowd and doing what I do in front of an audience. So that's going to be fierce, and that's going to be everything. So that's definitely something I'm looking in forward into. And I believe that would be a good look for Wendy if she's at a place of she could be of sound and mind and do the talk show there, or not even talk show. Well, I guess it would be a talk show because if it's in front of an audience, it would kind of have like that talk show vibe. But if she's going to do a podcast, I definitely would think like that would be the perfect place to kind of get your gig on. So if she wants to go bigger or whatever, she could do that down the road. But for now, I think that would be something that she should entertain. Now, moving right along, I wanted to update you guys on a story that I did last week about Noah's Ark. So, last week while we were doing the show, Patrick Ian Polk was receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award at the second annual Speak Out I Am Awards in DC. Now, during the podcast, because I had heard that, the cast of Noah's Ark was going to be there, and they were going to present him with the Lifetime Achievement Award. They all were there except, oh my God, what's the actor's name? The one that plays, well, y'all know, the actor that plays Chance in the show, Doug Spearman. I remember back in the day when I did, when I was on MySpace or whatever, something or another, I remember I hit him up or something, or there was something I posted. I think we were kind of messaging each other at the time. This was, I think, around the time of Noah's Ark, when MySpace was the big thing. So I was literally speaking to him in the message. But I remember someone else saying this story that they did the same thing. I was like, oh shit, me too. But anyway, so I got a little more tea regarding the whole situation that's happening now. Is it a TV show? Is it a movie? Are they going to go the direction of And Just Like That? Which I'm actually hoping that. So it was production. So look, we both been there, child. We both had a conversation with Doug Spearman on MySpace. But he was cool though. Was an unsexual child. But okay, so I know a lot of people have been trying to figure out, okay, so what's the tea? Like what exactly is it gonna be like? Is it gonna be a movie? Is it gonna be a TV show? Well, according to Daryl Stevens, he said that they were filming it in secret in Atlanta, and they had to damn near strong arm a lot of people to keep that damn secret and not reveal that they were filming Noah's Ark, where they were, in Atlanta. So I think that's cute because look, first of all, everybody's shooting shit in Atlanta. Because I remember the first two seasons they shot it in LA, but I guess LA is a little expensive. Then not season two, the movie they shot in Canada. Because, tax breaks and it's cheaper. But if you're shooting Atlanta, which probably, I'm guessing Tyler Perry Studios, you have a better chance of doing what needs to be done while you're out there. So, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this new Noah's Ark. It is going to be a film and it's going to be premiering later this year on MTV. So I know a lot of people were trying to wonder where the home was going to be, where they were going to be filming, where it was going to air. But being that Viacom owns the rights to Noah's Ark, it's going to air on MTV, which I'm like, okay, look at MTV pushing a lot of content in regards of like old IPs. Like y'all done snatched up Drag Race, which is a part of Logo. Then y'all got Noah's Ark, which is a part of Logo. And I remember Patrick Ian Poe also revealed on an episode of Real Friends of WeHo. That's how I first found out about that Noah's Ark was coming. And that's when I got excited. But a lot of people didn't watch Real Friends of WeHo, so nobody knew the tea. So I'm really looking forward to this. And also, if y'all want to watch the first 2 seasons of Noah's Ark, it is currently airing on Paramount Plus. So Paramount Plus, on top of this big news, added both seasons of Noah's Ark. I was actually watching season 1 last night, but I was so exhausted with so much going on, I literally fell asleep on it. So, yeah. So I didn't really get to invest in it like I used to. But yeah, I know it has its faults. There's a bit of delays in a lot of the reactions of the actors. The acting is a little questionable, but I'm assuming the acting will get a bit better, hopefully, when we watch this new movie. Derek Stevens has come a long way since Noah's Ark too. So I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this, and I don't know when it's going to air, but I'm assuming if they said it's coming soon, I'm having a strange feeling that we should be. Look, Pride is right around the corner. It's in June, so I'm assuming that that's when we'll be getting Noah's Ark. So good luck to all of y'all. Okay, so now let's get into some politics, child. Now I know we don't normally do politics and stuff on the show. However, when it comes to it spilling over in entertainment, that's when I feel like, okay, let's get it in and let's bring some politics in it. So I know a lot of people was gagging and jumping for joy, depending on who you ask. When I woke up on Monday and heard, I was at work when I got this tea. Because it came out literally like around 9 a.m. that Tucker Carlson had been fired from Fox News. So, the propaganda machine basically fired him. And according to Los Angeles Times, they said that what may have played a part in him getting fired was the Abby Grossberg lawsuit, because she got a lot of receipts. Apparently, she said that the man's racist. He made some anti-Semitic comments in the workplace. It was a toxic work environment. There was a lot of situations that went on with Tucker Carlson. Oh, Lord, not that picture. So according to the LA Times, Carlson's senior executive producer Justin Wells has also been terminated. According to people familiar with the matter, a Fox News representative would not comment at the time. Now, Rupert, I should say, is also said to be concerned over Carlson's coverage of January 6, 2021 insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, in which the host had promoted the conspiracy theory that it was provoked by government agents. Now, Carlson has called Ray Epps, a Texas man who participated in the storming of the Capitol but did not enter the building, an FBI plant, without presenting any evidence. Now, we all know this is a lie. I'm not believing what Rupert Murdoch is saying. I truly believe the reason why Tucker Carlson was fired is because of this lawsuit where they had to pay out $787.5 million, to Dominion. And now you have Smartmatic coming after them for $2.7 billion. That is with a B, that is not an M. I also think that Tucker was uncontrollable. He got away with too much over at Fox News. And I think that's the reason why he was fired. Because other than that, what was going on with the insurrection, other stuff? If that was a problem for Rupert Murdoch and them over at Fox News, they would have got rid of him eons ago. But I really feel like because y'all F with that man money, he had to lose like 4% of his damn money up in that place. That's what pissed them off and that's what hurt them. So I think that's where that came from because we know at the end of the day, money talks. So with all of that, if you want to read all the, the the statement, the big thing from the network and this and the other, you can go over to my website and read that. But they also said that Abby Grossberg, who's the producer, was fired by the network a month prior. She has receipts. And basically, like I said before, stuff about where there was systemic lying, bullying, conspiracy mongering going on behind the scenes. Um, and then also giving him access, Kevin McCarthy giving him access to, stuff. And you being the Speaker of the House, that should be illegal. The fact that y'all had this man being literally the puppet for Russian propaganda. So, Putin, he was literally a Putin ass with spreading misinformation. So now he don't have that no more. So now I'm also hearing word, because, it didn't take Fox that long, but they found a replacement. They put temporary, but yet it's still a replacement. So apparently Lawrence Jones, who made history as the youngest black solo host of a program in cable news, is going to be filling in for Tucker Carlson on Fox News next week. Now, Jones, who is 30, and he anchors Lawrence Jones Cross Country on Fox News on Saturday nights, will host in Carlson's former 8 p.m. slot on Monday as the network continues with a rotating lineup of anchors. Now, the Garland, Texas native, joined the network in December 2018 and was named the host of the weekend primetime program Lawrence Jones Cross Country in January 2022. Now, the media insider told Page Six that Fox News is trying out a rotating list of anchors in Tucker's spot. This week, it has been Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade, but it is significant that they have chosen Jones to step up so soon as after Tucker's departure. You think this is some tokenism that they're doing with this, that they've decided to pick this guy? Of all the things going on, y'all went and picked the token Negro. Because look, at the end of the day, all skin folk and kinfolk, I don't give a damn what anybody say. So y'all went and picked the one little pick me Negro to replace Tucker Carlson because of what I stated earlier. There was misogyny going on behind the scenes at Fox. There was a lot of bigotry that was said behind the scenes. Allegedly, Tucker Carlson was making anti-Semitic comments and all this other stuff. So, you know what? Let's deflect. Let's distract. So we're going to put, this coon in replacement of Tucker Carlson so that way, the conversation, so that way we could just deflect from everything else that's going on. And that's fine. Some people are slave to the dollar. And I find it hilarious that, you coons like to replace this BS with, he said, Jones did. He told the newspaper it was Sean Hannity who first offered him a correspondent role on Fox, saying, and I quote, "I told him no, I didn't think it was a good idea because I'm a libertarian and we're going to disagree a lot." And he said, "Oh, that's okay, just be you." And I said, "No, we really going to disagree." He goes, "Just give it a shot." And that turned from 2 months into a year. And he said, "Listen, LJ, if you just be you, you'll have your own show." He also added, this is the part where I wanted to kind of get to, "I may have a godparent of every single race, and so people often ask me, how am I able to report on a story in the south side of Chicago and then go to Iowa to do a diner for Fox and Friends? And it's because I grew up around all these different types of people. It has allowed me to really go within any different crowd and understand their grievances and understand the things that matter to them the most. And guess what? So have I. I've grown up around different races, gender, sexual orientations, and backgrounds. Because my mother, who is liberal, and my father, who are both liberal, wanted us to be around different types of people. So I don't think I get that when I look at when I look at this guy. Yeah, y'all like to say, "Oh yeah, I can walk into any crowd and I can do this and do that, whatever." And yeah, you're a part of the whole Fox umbrella, but at what price and at what cause? Especially when we know the type of thing that Fox is capable of, and the kind of stunts they pull, and the type of colors they like on their panel. But then again, I can't all paint them all under a brush, because I remember at one point, look, Sonny Hostin worked at Fox News. So good luck to him. I did see something. Damn, what was there was something I saw that um there was a network that Tucker Carlson, they were looking to have him work at, and they said they was going to give him control of the whole damn network. If I can find that tea, I will definitely let y'all know. But Jesus Christ. Okay, so I think I might have found it, because um what was it? Oh, TMZ is reporting that conservative media outlet Newsmax is headhunting Carlson, reportedly offering him total control of the channel. So that's basically where they said that they're going to be going, that they're looking at where Tucker Carlson's going to go. They're courting him to go to Newsmax, and said that if you do come to Newsmax, we'll give you free reign and you could just do whatever the hell you want. Now, I think the same thing could be said for Don Lemon, because Don Lemon, I believe, News Nation, isn't that the same place that his friend? This, I was going to do some job offers. But like, what can Chris Cuomo do? I mean, not Chris Cuomo, because Chris Cuomo got a job. But where could Don Lemon go? Because everybody's so quick to talk about, well, I don't know where Don Lemon's going to go. What's he going to do? Blah, 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 so on and so forth. So let's get into the Don Lemon story. So I'm sure you already heard, because it's already been a week. After 17 years, CNN decided to do their own red wedding. Don Lemon announced that he's been fired from CNN. What he wrote on Twitter, people gagged, and someone asked me, do they think it's legit, that did he really write that? I said, no, this sounds like something Don Lemon wrote. Didn't even go through a publicist or nothing. This came from his mouth via his fingers. I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I've loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play, but that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They're the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. Now, CNN also put out their own post, CNN Communications, as I say, and said CNN and Don are parted ways. Don will forever be a part of the CNN family, and we thank him for his contributions over the past 17 years. We wish him well, and we'll be cheering him on in his future endeavors. Now, that was, I think, around the same time that Don had posted what he posted. It was like within minutes of each other. So then CNN decided to debunk Don's claims, saying that Don's statement about this morning's event is inaccurate. He was offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. So clearly someone's lying. And I believe, and if I had to choose, I'm going to believe Don. Now, I know people feel the way they feel about Don. I don't know much about Don Lemon for them to be going like, well, he's been questionable within the Black community, that he's done some coonery and buffoonery. I don't follow him like that to even know the tea. Maybe people are saying that because he got a white husband. Are they married or are they still engaged? I don't know. But Don is out here doing what needs to be done. He's living his best life. He has been, he signed that contract last year, which I'm thinking that there was no plans to get rid of him, but I feel like because they're under new management, I heard that the person that bought CNN is a conservative Republican, which should not come as a surprise, because a lot of people that run a lot of these organizations and a lot of these corporations, a lot of these companies lean right, but excuse me, try to play it off like they're liberal. So, um, when I was looking at Don Lemon's story and I was watching a lot of the political shows and trying to understand everything that was going on, I truly feel that he was scapegoated. I truly feel that this is a cop out. That the people that he was working with, Miss Poppy and that other one, if they were going around saying that he's misogynistic, he's anti-woman, and this, that, and the third, what didn't make any sense to me, and Whoopi Goldberg pointed this out, and I'm glad she brought it up because I was like, you know what, you got a point. Why would you have him on a show with women if he was misogynistic? Now, yes, don't get me wrong. What he said about Nikki Haley being a past her prime, I mean, look, everybody says what Don Lemon said, but y'all don't say it out loud. That was the problem because he's in a place of, he's got a platform and he says something. Now he's wrong for what he said. Now, I guess because we're in a politically correct world, he is wrong for saying that. First of all, I think in this country, we put too much emphasis on age anyway. And who's old enough to do this and who's old enough to do that. But I don't feel sorry for that bitch because she the same one that under the same breath, years, days, I don't even know. Later on, most recently, fix him up, want to weaponize what Don Lemon said for sympathy and empathy. But then this bitch gonna go over and pretty much got Joe Biden in the grave. After he recently came out talking about he's running for re-election. And don't get me wrong, don't get me started on Joe Biden and the other one, the orange asshole, talking about he running for re-election. Why does this kept? I don't want neither one of them for another damn term. But the reality is, whenever we get somebody who's a progressive or independent, whatever, because like that show that I'm watching, Rabbit Hole with Kiefer Sutherland, you have these people with a lot of money, a lot of power who want to keep a certain politician doing what they're bidding and stuff so they can have control over the world. So you're not interested in having somebody coming and making real changes in politics. So, yeah. So with that, and here's another thing. That shit y'all try to pull with trying to say that the Vivek Rama swamp ass, because I don't know how to say his last name, but he an asshole. So I don't like him. I'm not buying that story either, with y'all trying to use Vivek as a reason why Don Lemon was fired. The fact of the matter was, I felt like y'all baited him. He wasn't going to say a word when he was sitting up there with Miss Poppy while she was going up, toe to toe with Vivek and his bullshit. Don wasn't even entertaining it, but y'all kept poking the bear, saying, so, are you going to, do you have anything to say? Do you want anything to add to the conversation? He didn't really want to, but y'all kept egging him on, and he finally answered. Now y'all want to sit and use that. And then production's mad because he's like, I need y'all to shut up. I can't really concentrate. I'm trying to understand what he's saying. I don't need a bunch of, and I'm sure that's what it was, white people in them studio, in the room, talking into the mic, into my ear, feeding me what I should say. I know as a black man in this country what I need to say to some colored who think just because, he running around trying to run for president and you thinking you could just say certain things and because you got dark skin that you could speak on what's going on in the black community. You don't know what it's like to be a black man because you're not black. You're Indian. Indians don't deal with the same with. Y'all deal with something else. Quiet as it's kept, what Indians deal with is a lot of people can't tell you from someone who's from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, who's a Muslim, and all this other stuff. They lump all of y'all under the same umbrella. That's what you need to be worrying about, not trying to speak for the black man experience. So they try to use that as an excuse. I wasn't buying it. Y'all can't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, child. I wasn't buying the bullshit. So they said that Don Lemon was also preparing a possible lawsuit against CNN, and he's owed at least $25 million because that's the money that he was supposed to make, I guess because he had signed a contract that was supposed to go, I think a 6-year contract or something or another, so he was supposed to make $25 million from that. There was a $7 million a year contract with CNN that was supposed to run till 2026. But then they were saying, this according to page 6, that he hired a high-powered LA entertainment attorney, Brian Friedman, to secure his exit and probe whether the former anchor is entitled to a further settlement, which is, I believe, the same attorney that Chris Cuomo was using. So if you sign a deal and he wasn't going anywhere else, he's guaranteed that money. And I'm sure he's going to get it. He don't need to work. Just pay him the money and keep it moving. And last but certainly not least, Don Lemon has spoken out. You know what? I had no idea that the Met Gala was this weekend. I always thought the Met Gala was in September. Am I bugging? Because I know Don Lemon's gone to the Met Gala before. That's why I brought it up. But anyway, so Don Lemon did an interview with Extra during the red carpet of Time 100 Gala in New York. So he made an appearance at the gala, and this is what he said: I don't have to rush to another job, even if I want another job. I want to. I want to work again, but I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I don't have to worry about those things. He also shut down rumors that he's planning to sue the news network for wrongful termination. He said, no. I'm going to spend my summer on the beach and on the boat with my family and just chill out and see what happens next. And here's the thing. It's like Don is not, his career is not, his legacy isn't tainted like Tucker. I don't think Don has ever been in a situation where he's had it as bad as Tucker Carlson. So he could do the job that needs to, be done. And I honestly don't think that he should go back on another network. I feel like corporate news is not what it used to be. I feel like it's better off go the route of the Young Turks, go the route of Roland Martin, who was a former CNN commentator. Or is he a journalist as well? I'm not sure what his background is, but I'm assuming he is a journalist. So, and I was watching Roland Martin talk about the whole Don Lemon thing, and he said that when he was at CNN, he was plotting his escape, that he didn't want to go back to that world and have them have control of the situation. So when he left, he went independent, and now people get paid from, the super chats or donations or whatever the case is, the way that when they bring you the real news on social media, and not this watered down bullshit that you get from these corporate run news networks, which is why I don't watch cable news, because I don't feel like you're going to get the real tea now. Or a lot of times when you do talk about certain things, there's restrictions that they have to abide by when they talk about those things. So Donald bounced back if he doesn't take the gig from I was trying to pop this open. Let's see, what was it again? Oh, News Nation. You could do a podcast. You could do something with YouTube where you can, or Patreon or whatever the case is, and take donations and do the news that way. Get you a producer, a small team of people that you employ that help you get all the things you want to get, and talk about the things you want to talk about without those restrictions. That's all. But good luck to you, Don. He gonna bounce back, and even if he don't want to come back to TV, he got so much damn money he can luxuriate on. Okay, so let's get to this Sunny Hostin story. So, Sunny Hostin recently appeared on Watch What Happens Live. And when a caller called in to ask a question, most likely pre-written and approved by Andy Cohen himself, regarding a recent column Nutmeg McCain wrote for the Daily Beast, calling The View a toxic workplace, here's what she had to say. She said, "Oh, let me take a drink," because I think she was drinking a martini. What can I say? I have not read the column. I have heard about it, and our show is a wonderful place, the 54-year-old longtime co-host said. We're the #1 talk show in the country, happy to say. I'm surprised that she's writing about the book. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that she's right about. Okay, whatever. That's what she said. That's what we'll go with. I know her husband Ben Dominic, that asshole, likes to mean tweet about me, which is shocking. But Meghan and I have always been friendly. We remain friends, and I don't think she's doing television anymore. At one point during the conversation, Sonny even suggested that Andy hire Nutmeg to be a housewife for one of his 5,000 franchises, to which we all know she's a huge fan of. I wish her well, she says. We're real happy on the show, and we're a real cohesive group, and God bless. Well, we know that was the more holier approach, but I'm sure Sonny has some choice words for Nutmeg. And my thing is this: I'm kind of glad she took the high road. She don't need to feed into the BS. But Nutmeg up there talking about that she was in a toxic work environment. It's funny, we doing the View 2 weeks in a row. Last week we did one on Rosie O'Donnell. This week we doing on Sonny and Nutmeg. And maybe she would do well on one of the Housewives. I think Nutmeg would do good if they decide to revive DC, Real Housewives of DC. Remember when they did those when they had the Salahis on there? Child, that was a mess. That show lasted one damn season. But nevertheless, I don't know what show she was watching, but I remember. Here's the thing. Now I remember back in the day when I heard Nutmeg was first getting the gig being on The View. I was actually here for it because I remember back when Pivot existed, I actually watched Meghan's show, and I thought she made sense with a lot of the stuff she was talking about, because I thought like she was this new generation of Republicans that was moving away from that Reagan era type of Republican, and she was kind of coming to terms with like, oh yeah, I'm a Republican that loves people of color, that loves gay people, that don't want to segregate and discriminate, which is what we get a lot from the GOP, where a lot of them are stepping in trying to deny people rights and take away people government rights and all this other mess. I thought that was the girl she was being. She was gonna be this new voice for the millennial Republicans. Then she comes on The View and becomes this cigarette smoking, Annie Oakley, horseback riding, gun toting fraud who was going in and just letting have on anybody, coming in unhinged, screaming and arguing with everybody. One of my friends pointed this out when I wrote the article and I posted on my social media. He was like, maybe it's because she's suffered from PTSD, that she's gone through so many traumatic situations. The death of her father, marrying that man, where I think now she got 2 kids with him. And then her taking on the mantle of being the sole spokesperson for all Republicans, which no one told her to take that job on, but she took it upon herself to be that girl. No one, you should have just came on and Sean Hannity told Lawrence, even though we don't particularly care for that fool, but just like he told him, be yourself, and the rest will follow. Nutmeg wanted to come on and try to be all she could be. She wanted to come on and represent every aspect of the Republican Party. And my thing is this: you cannot do that. Just like the other women on the show cannot represent every part of being a Democrat. You can't come on and try to hold on to that mantle, because that shit will drive you crazy. Because then you got Republicans being like, well, you didn't say this, you didn't agree to this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And then she probably had that nut of a husband chirping on her ear about stuff. And then him going on social media, bullying people and mean tweets and all this other foolishness. Because her husband loved bullying people on the internet. Remember when he went after Seth Meyers? So, just because her father ran for president and lost to Barack Obama don't mean you have a firsthand inclination of how politics work. Because I assume she did, but it looked like she didn't know what the hell she was talking about. So at the end of the day, Nutmeg ain't nothing more than a trust fund baby with a big ass mouth. Now, I should also point out that EW did the article where I pulled this from. And they said at the time, all possible hot topic discussion points were reviewed by all the co-hosts daily, and they decide as a group, which includes the producers, who they want to include based on what will make the best conversation. So that's basically what that is. And then she always clashed with Joy Behar. I didn't like that either. But you know what? Say what you want. I'm glad Nutmeg's gone because I feel like the energy of the show has shifted dramatically since she, quit the show. Um, and I like Alyssa being a part of the show. I know that some people don't like her, but I feel like she's a breath of fresh air to the show. She gets along with all the ladies. Yeah, she says the things that she says, but for the most part, but I think she also has a little cheerleader on the side too, Sarah Haynes. She always likes to join in and protect her whatever she needs. I don't know why, but that's what she does. And I like when Anna Navarro's there too. So now we got two Republicans with two different perspectives that sit on the panel. Anna comes in when she, the day that Whoopi's not there because she sits in the middle seat, on Fridays, and then Monday she sits there when Joy gets her day off because Joy and Whoopi work. They veterans in the game, so they only work 4 days a week. So shout out to Sunny. You know what, Sunny? You got a job at the end of the day. You got a new book out that she's out promoting. She's got a cushy job over at, ABC. I would love to see CNN court her. I'm mad at CNN over the whole Don Lemon thing, but look, since y'all offering people jobs, I mean, y'all gave Gayle King and the other one, Charles Barkley, a job, and I don't even think that people are gonna be watching that show. How you gonna do a show on CNN, a news channel which does politics, and say y'all not gonna do politics? Make that make sense. Like if y'all gonna do entertainment, maybe y'all should go to E News and not CNN. But I would love to see. I was thinking CNN, but production saying that Sunny needs to go to MSNBC. Well, yeah, they got a better roster over there. Look, they got Joy Reid, they got Deadline White House. So, and then plus she could be over there with a former View co-host. So MSNBC might be the spot because why does kept nobody's really watching CNN. And it's funny how people said that they would stop watching Fox because of Tucker Carlson leaving. Or getting fired. He didn't leave. He was fired because he assumed he was coming back on Monday. But it looks like but I'm like, well, wait a minute. Bill O'Reilly before him, y'all stuck around when they replaced him with Tucker. So the people talking all that shit, they ain't going nowhere. They're gonna keep watching they Fox News because they don't know nothing else. And plus all the people that sit and watch TV all day, I'm sure they're not gonna be able to find them. I think isn't that a streaming service that they were talking about courting him on? Newsmax. Aren't those like is that a cable channel? I don't even know. But anyway, good luck to you, Sonny. I told you we got a lot of talk show stuff up in here. So now we're gonna talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. And the fact that Red Table Talk was canceled over on Facebook. I didn't even know Facebook could cancel stuff, but here we are. So Jada has spoken out, and here's what she said on Twitter. We are so grateful to have had such a beautiful partnership with Facebook Watch, and we are sorry to see the entire team disband. We wish everyone well in their new journeys to come. We at Red Table Talk are in talks of finding a new home, and we'll see you soon. Well, I don't know where she's gonna end up. Maybe Revolt. I've heard MTV. But maybe Revolt could pick it up. They like a lot of those black centric talk shows and stuff over there. But here's the thing. I had no idea how much people did just dislike Jada Pinkett Smith until I reported on this story. Because I was like reading the comment, I'm like, well, goddamn, a lot of y'all really don't like Miss Jada. Because what were they saying? Oh, a lot of people was blaming her for like with the whole Will Smith thing, and oh, she's spilling too much tea. She's coming across like a home wrecker. Jada emancipated himself from his parents. Jada does come across as with a huge ego and pretentious and this and the third. These are all the things people have said, including Nick Cannon, that was gloating over the fact that Jada Pinkett's show got canceled. So the Masked Singer host celebrated the good news on his Daily Cannon show this past Thursday, saying, and I quote, if there was a no red table talk, then he wouldn't have slapped the ish out of Chris Rock. This is what Cannon said, referencing Jada's husband Will Smith slapping the comedian after Rock poked fun at her hair loss during the 2022 Oscars. I should also point out that people do not even believe that Jada Pinkett has alopecia. They think that she's faking it. I don't know. I'm not up in her roots, but I do cackle when y'all be out here with your little conspiracy theories. Now, the Wild 'N Out host explained that he believes Smith's heated reactions stem from him and Pinkett Smith bringing their relationship issues to the table in 2020 to discuss the actress's entanglement with singer August Alsina. I've been seeing people use that entanglement word. It was a goddamn affair. Stop it. And that's why people don't like you, because you be using all these little highfalutin ass words to make a point or to make something sound less than what it is. Saying, I don't want to know all this ish about y'all, added Cannon 42, telling his radio show co-host that the couple were considered royalty before divulging their open marriage. I just want to mind my black owned business, he said. I don't want to be up in everybody else's kitchen. Keep that ish to yourselves. Abby De La Rosa, who shares 3 children with Cannon, did not agree with the All That alum and told him to stop bashing the toxic table. It was an honest table, she argued. They are still royalty. It feels human. They're like they're human. De La Rosa continued, it feels relatable. They're trash too, like the rest of us. Now, when the 32-year-old shared her plans to get a red table of her own, the father of 12 clapped back that you're getting that table all by yourself. F that table. Well, here's the thing. Hello, we're back. And today is just one of those days, bitch. This shit there's a delay in the video. It's slowing up. I don't know, but it is what it is. And we're just gonna keep trucking, girl, because that's what we do over here. So, here's the thing. I didn't really watch Red Table Talk. It was depending on whatever the topic was, I would jump in and I would watch. There were certain things I was like, okay, let me get into it. Then here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that we had a place where Black people, 3 generations of women, sat down at a table and discussed things that were going on in the Black community, because we all know from history, Black people, people of color in general, do not like dealing with a lot of family traumas or things that go on in our community. We always say, you know, whatever goes on in the house stays in the house. We don't well, thank you. I didn't even know Robert was in the building. Said I need to be the successor of Miss Wendy. How you doing? Well, I don't know if you saw the video earlier, but there was a conversation that was brought up about me and Wendy might be, you know, label mates over at Red Eye, the Red Eye, Red Eye Radio. Jesus. But anyway, so here's the thing. I never really got into the whole Red Table Talk thing, but I was glad that it existed because it gave a platform for women to deal and talk about their trauma collectively. I know a lot of people, when I was saying earlier, when I posted this on social media, a lot of people was talking about how they don't like Jada. They feel like she's toxic, that she's problematic, that she's got an ego, that she's all things. Maybe I'm sure all those things are true. She is a Virgo. We do have a little bit of an ego with us. Or we do come across a lot of times where people think that we could be a tad bit pretentious. But Nick is the last person that should be out here talking about what he happy about, because it wasn't that long ago that your career was just about to be over you making what was deemed anti-Semitic comments on your show. So for you to come out here and celebrate somebody's demise when you got, first of all, 12 children with a bunch of baby mamas, and you can't even remember all the names of your 12 kids. Didn't he just do an interview with something recently where he couldn't remember all his kids' names? So that's what you need to be focused on. You need to be focusing on every morning getting up with this mantra. You know how like Tina Turner go, Nambiaho, Renge Kyo, Nambiaho. You need to be chanting your kids' names so you don't forget none of their ass. That's what you should be doing. Now, that show may not have been my cup of tea, but I'm not going to celebrate somebody's demise if they're not doing anything harmful to, other people. But, and how she treats her husband and emasculates him and all those things that y'all been saying about him, at the end of the day, Will Smith is a grown-ass man. If he's going to sit there and let his wife treat him and talk down to him the way she talked down to him, that's on him. Grow some fucking balls and handle that. But we're not going to sit up in here and just be like, well, Jada is this, and this because she be treating well. Look, if you're going to continue to be married to that woman and put up with the bullshit, I don't feel sorry for him. I really don't. Now, let's move on from that because I don't think I have anything else to offer. Now, there was a tweet that I saw earlier this week too that I was like, oh no, I got to talk about this, child. So apparently people think that Jaden Smith may have come out as gay on social media. So now, the musician who recently debuted his sneaker line with Converse has had rumors floating around about his sexuality since 2018, back when he made remarks claiming rapper Tyler, the Creator, was his boyfriend. However, on Twitter, and this was on April 27th when this popped up, but I saw when he was at Coachella, he tweeted this: "Then my boyfriend played a show the day I fly to Korea." And then Tyler, who I screenshot and I posted his response, posted the following. Thank you for showing up last night. Was great. And that was 16 minutes after Jaden posted what he posted. Now, I don't know if this is an attention-seeking publicity stunt or does he really get down with the dudes? Now, here's the thing. I don't put nothing past that family. Quiet as it's kept, I think they all fluid. I think they all do all kinds of things, all kinds of people. We already know the tea about Will and Jada having an open marriage. I believe Willow said that she is sexually fluid. Jaden gives me very much, yeah, dude, I'm down for anything, bro. Like, he gives me very much that. Like, very peace and love. Like, he lives like that hippie life. And I'm sure he's into, well, I don't know if he's ever had a girlfriend, but he gives me vibes of like he might be into boys and this, that, and the third. They all a little eclectic. In LA. Especially when you're about that Hollywood life. So, I don't know. Is he fluid? Is he not fluid? If y'all know some tea, let me know. But if he is, I'm not surprised. I mean, we all know that Tyler, the Creator, gets down with men because he says he does. But I didn't think that someone like a Jaden Smith would be his type because didn't Tyler say he makes out with a lot of white boys? So, I guess Jaden a little light bright, so He fits up there with what Tyler might be into, the little skater boy types, the little skinny ones. And Jaden got body, yada, 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 yada. Because that picture I posted on my page of him with the rainbows behind him, he been hitting the gym. So good luck to you, Jaden. If you are truly out of the closet, congratulations. Welcome to the Rainbow Coalition or the Rainbow Mafia. Because apparently we got a mafia. But if you're not, you pulling stunts, girl, I'm going to read you. All right, so let's get to this next topic, which is juicy, because Patti LuPone is taking no prisoners. She's out here reading the girls. So Tony-winning Broadway icon and TV actress Patti LuPone is not here for Kim Kardashian being cast in the upcoming season of American Horror Story. Now, this story is it's from Page 6, so shout out to them. The legendary Broadway star, who is 74, let loose on Watch What Happens Live. You know, everybody goes on Watch What Happens Live. So even though nobody's watching Andy Cohen's show, he is pretty much getting his show referenced quite a bit on a lot of the, the social medias and the blogs. So the legendary Broadway star appeared on Watch What Happens Live this past Sunday when host Andy Cohen asked her and fellow guest John Leguizamo whether they give a damn about the reality star who was 42 being cast in the American Horror Story franchise. Yes, I do, she seethed through gritted teeth. You don't like it, do you? Andy Cohen clarified. No, I don't, LuPone replied in an unsurprisingly theatrical fashion. That's kind of like how she was giving it, but I want to go full. I live for Andy because he best and he loves instigating. But that's what he does. Excuse me, Kim. What are you doing with your life? Don't get on the stage, Mrs. Worthington. LuPone continued, referencing the English playwright and composer Noel Coward's 1935 song Mrs. Worthington about overzealous momagers. Wouldn't that be Chris Jenner? Now, earlier this month, AHS co-creator Ryan Murphy, announced that Kardashian would star in his show's upcoming 12th season. Now, I was going to talk about that when that news first dropped, but I felt like, you know what? I don't really need going there, and I didn't go in with the conversation. So therefore, I decided to withhold my opinion until more stuff came out. And now more stuff's come out because Patti LuPone spoke out and Sharon Stone has said some stuff too. And we're going to get to it. But I always got to lay out the scene. Kim is among the biggest and brightest television stars in the world, and we are thrilled to welcome her to the AHS family, Murphy 57 said in a statement. Now, the Skims founder reportedly will play a role specifically written with her in mind. Kardashian is set to join Emma Roberts in the anthology's new installment titled Delicate, which is based on Danielle Valentine's forthcoming novel, Delicate Condition. Now, she previously had small roles in Disaster movie, Beyond the Break, and CSI New York, and received a Golden Raspberry Award for worst supporting actress for her turning Temptation Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. Now that's a Tyler Perry movie, but that's not really much of a stretch because have y'all seen really good acting come out of a Tyler Perry movie? But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. We're not going to beat up on Miss Perry. We're going to stay on Kim Kardashian neck. LuPone, for her part, has appeared in 3 Murphy created series, AHS, Pose, and Hollywood. Now, Kardashian is not the only celeb that the company star has criticized for her acting abilities. She also, LuPone, who originated the role of Ava Perón and Evita in Broadway in 1979, was less than complimentary with Madonna's portrayal in the 1996 film adaptation. Saying, during a 2017 Watch What Happens Live appearance, she branded the Vogue singer a movie killer. And in 2018, LuPone criticized Uma Thurman's Broadway performance, saying, I don't necessarily need to see film actors on stage because they can't. Not in my country, they can't. Can I just say Uma Thurman in the Parisian Woman, Anybody see it? Holy ish. I'm sorry. Now, Here's what Sharon Stone, who's 65, said about the socialite's upcoming AHS role after Patti gave her 2 cents. She posted the following on Access Hollywood's Instagram page saying, well, acting. It may not be brain surgery, but we do treasure our art. We studied, we suffered, we do suffer for it. 10,000 hours, it's a thing, Stone wrote in the comments section, referencing the idea that 10,000 hours of practice amounts to success in a given field, popularized by Malcolm Gladwell's 2008 book, Outliers. Now look, here's my opinion on this. Quiet as it's kept, American Horror Story ain't been good since Coven. I know every homosexual's favorite season is Coven because of the witches. So I do like that season. And I love when Angela Bassett was a part of it and they had all the all-star cast of women that was a part of that season. So everybody loves Coven. People hold that to a high regard. American Horror Story hasn't been good since then. They've been doing a lot of stunt casting. As of late, I wanted to like the last season when they did an NYC, which I thought was going to be a gay slasher movie or slasher series. It was like all over the place. Y'all started doing like some serial killer going around killing gay men and trying to take the body parts and create his own Frankenstein. And then people were dying of AIDS. And then we go to Fire Island and people are fucking and dying of AIDS. I'm like, what? What is all this bullshit? So what is this show really about? Is it about exploiting gay trauma? Or I had no idea what was going on. And then you had the closeted cop who was dating the journalist who worked at a gay publication, and then Sandra Bernhard wanted to get a gig there, and she was a psychic. It was like reading tarot cards. I'm like, okay, y'all just throwing whatever at the sink and seeing what sticks. And then I wanted to like the season where they did try to do like the Friday the 13th ripoff because they had my girl Miss Candy on there. Forgot her damn name. I forget Angelica Ross. And I was ready, but I was so out of. But I hated that season. But I loved her on it. Oh yeah, they also did the stunt cast. I forgot Lady Gaga played a vampire in Hotel, hunting a gay man. I think it was Matthew Bomer, if I'm not mistaken. I was ready to not watch the season because I was like, okay, I'm officially done with American Horror Story. Wasn't gonna watch. Was gonna move on from it and be like, well, fuck y'all. Whenever y'all air it, I think it's next month when it's supposed to come out or this summer. I don't remember. Normally they have American Horror Story come out in the fall, so that way it coincides with whatever. But I don't even know anymore. Whatever. I was ready to not watch this season until I found out MJ Rodriguez. They done cast her. I was like, oh, now y'all trying to pull me in now. So I wasn't gonna watch, but now MJ Rodriguez is gonna be a part of the cast. Now I gotta fucking watch the season. So y'all knew what y'all was doing. Y'all know that it was going to be so polarizing to have Kim Kardashian. You thought putting her name a part of it was going to bring in the ratings. So now that you brought her in and you got everybody pissed, now you want to bring other people in to kind of help out with the show. I don't know. You know what? Out of curiosity, I was going to watch one episode to see how she does. I already know she's probably going to do terrible. But because she ain't no actress. But I do agree. I don't like the idea of now you're giving stars opportunities that actors spend years of their life owning their craft to get a gig. There's so many actors out here who are trying to get work that, want to get, they're trying to get a part. They're trying to make it in the industry. And y'all just giving out, roles to influencers because they're a name. I don't remember this far back, but I wonder if people felt the same when it happened to Nene. When Ryan Murphy offered Nene some roles because she was so popular on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I wonder if people felt the same way when she was talking about, I wanted to be an actress. And they put her on The New Normal, which lasted one season. And then she did a bunch of other Ryan Murphy projects. Glee. Never American Horror Story, although it would have been interesting to see her do a horror film. But yeah, so like I said, I wasn't planning on watching this season, but now I gotta watch because MJ Rodriguez is on it. So I'll be watching because that's my sister. I live for I gotta support the trans girls when they get the gigs. Not a lot of them running around. and I'll just tolerate Kim. But and you know what? I love Patti LuPone because Patti LuPone is never afraid to speak her mind. Yeah, we may not like what she says and all this other stuff. And you know what? This is also, I think, why like when she's criticizing actors for doing stage plays, this is like a lot of the reasons why they don't allow stage actors to come over to movies, because they feel like, you know, she's getting mad over Madonna, probably because she wanted the part herself. But they probably was like, oh no, you too old to be Ava Perón on camera in a movie, and we need a name, because that's what Hollywood is all about. Hollywood is all about name IP. Who's the biggest star that we can get to sell this picture? Because it's not about getting butts in theater seats. It's about who can we sell this film to for people to watch on a worldwide scale. But anyway, so good luck to y'all. I like Glenn Close. She is a good actress. Let's get into this Usher story. So Usher, you know, there's always been stories about him, whether or not people want, you know, there's been a debate on whether or not people will see him hosting, you know, not hosting, headlining Super Bowl halftime show. I have brought up his name countless times, saying that he would be perfect for the halftime special. It's something I think he'd be perfect for. Why not? Well, he was recently asked during an interview, and here's what he said. So now, shout out to Ubrox for this. Usher is among the most revered R&B singers of the past few decades. But even with his career spanning 30 years, there are still a few things the Glue singer has unmarked on his professional bucket list. The musician's Las Vegas residency is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to showcasing beloved discography. Now, in a recent interview with Access Hollywood, Usher threw his hat in the ring to be the next Super Bowl halftime show headliner. When asked if he'd be open to it, he replied, "I'd be a fool to say no. I've had the opportunity to grace the stage before in support of performing OMG with will.i.am, but that was one moment." Oh yeah, I forgot that. Didn't Black Eyed Peas do the Super Bowl? And the time period they was doing, that was perfect for the Super Bowl. Now, remaining humble, where it said, despite a viral tweet claiming the singer didn't have enough pop tracks to take the Super Bowl stage, which I call BS on, Usher dismissed the remarks, saying, "I think I have a catalog that obviously speaks for itself." He damn sure does, because I've been saying it for the longest. You know, he's got Yeah, he's got OMG, he's got you know, he's got those club tracks, he's got DJ's Got Us Falling in Love. Like, he's got a lot of songs they can get up there and do that. Y'all only just pay attention to what you think he only got Nice and Slow and Burn. And he could do You Remind Me. He could do those slow songs too, or he can remix a lot of the songs that he has. He has a lot of songs. Plus, he could bring out Jermaine Dupri, and he could bring out other people to do the show with. He doesn't necessarily have to be up there by himself, because, you know, people do bring out guest stars and this, that, and third. But look, then again, Rihanna did the whole Super Bowl by herself, so why does Usher have to bring somebody out, right? Just do it. Usher is a showman. He is definitely someone who is one of the greats and has studied a lot of the greats. Michael Jackson, Sammy Davis Jr., Ben Vereen, who I believe is his godfather or his uncle or somebody. I know they're related some sort of way. So Usher is someone who has studied the greats. He's not like some hack. He's definitely going to give you a show. His Vegas residency is doing really well. And I definitely see this for him. So I hope that this happens. He said, so to be able to celebrate on that day, it's obviously about football, but everybody really anticipates the performance, you know? Seeing Michael Jackson perform, recently seeing Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and all of them perform, seeing so many incredible performances like Prince, it has always been kind of a bucket list thing. And then Usher closed by joking, how do I make it happen? Well, put it out there in the universe. That's how you make it happen. And from what I heard, that they were talking about that there was a deleted tweet that Usher said he was willing to wait perhaps for the 2025 Super Bowl that's set to take place in Atlanta. And I get why he would want to do Atlanta, not that he's from Atlanta, but a lot of the music that he's done as is rooted in Atlanta. Like I said, working with Jermaine Dupri and so many other people, it would make sense for him to do Atlanta. But we need somebody good for 2024. I don't know who. I was thinking Pink. I would definitely love to see Pink do the Super Bowl. But I don't know if I think Pink said she wouldn't do it because she does enough of the little stunts and things where, and look, she's about to embark on an arena tour. Why not start in front of a football field? So I definitely want to see Usher. I do think he is the prince of R&B pop. I know a lot of people want to put that off on Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake or whatever, but y'all better get Usher his flowers and stop playing in his face. So anyway, let's take a bit of a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk Real Housewives of Atlanta news. Marlo trying desperately to keep her damn peach. Giudice is speaking out after her uncle Joe Gorga accuses her of basically telling him to leave his wife. Joe Budden is going in. A lot of people are going in on Frank Ocean and this whole Coachella situation. A lot of people's weighing in, got a lot of opinions. Joe Budden and Diplo. Plus, Swizz Beatz is teasing a possible versus between Little Kim and Nicki Minaj. I've been giving my opinion on that. Plus, UK Drag Race winner Danny Beard is slamming people for going in on Sam Smith's body type. And Lance Bass is opening up about his time with NSYNC, saying he made way more money when the group split than he made when he was a part of the band. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more of The Rundown starring Why?
You use synthetic wigs to cover stuff, and that's fine. Some people don't have the tools.
Where'd your hair go?
The gay community literally would shame me because I don't do poppers. One thing that I learned with the gay community, if you don't do something with the wave or like others, they are against you. I never enjoyed doing poppers. I never desired it. I never liked it. I never wanted to do it. It's never something that I wanted to do to have fun. If you want to do poppers, sure, go ahead. Who cares? My experience, and hopefully I can share some light in the community for people like me, guys like me that don't like poppers, that don't want to do it, and that don't desire it.
Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello there. We back. I was so glad I was up in here. Like while the commercials was playing, I was checking messages. I'm getting messages from friends of mine. Shout out to Michael Cook because he was like all up in the thing. And somebody he needed my email so he could add me to a press list for his events. So the girls is hitting me up, and I live for it. Look, I've been working my ass off consistently getting my name and stuff out there. And now I'm noticing 3 years of doing this in production for all your hard work and everything, me pushing and pushing and pushing, I'm starting to notice the turnaround. Things are starting to happen. I'm getting excited. Maybe I need to stop gloating too damn much because I don't want the floor to come up under me. But oh wait, the events is just events in general. So like press events, things that's going on in the entertainment industry because he gets the inside tea. How do you think I found out about what went on at the Q in New York? He was the one that got all the tea. But yeah, it's a lot going on. So shout out to him. He works at Word.com, which is an entertainment site where they talk about LGBT stuff. But anyway, back to the show. Glad y'all are here. Like, look, I already told you I'm gonna be making a lot of appearances. I'm gonna be getting out there and doing events and this and the third. This has always been something I've been wanting to do, but I've been kind of procrastinating on it. But I feel like now that the name is getting out there, people are seeing what I'm doing. Because see, and this is another thing that always gets me too. A lot of times when I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing, I think maybe this is also an ego. Not even an ego. It's entertainer insecurities that we have. A lot of times, I'll even admit it because a lot of people won't say this shit, but I'll get on here and I'll be doing stuff and I'm like, is it even worth it? Like, I don't know if the numbers aren't as great as other YouTubers, influencers, and podcasters and people who do things. But at the end of the day, I always have to remind myself, I have to continue to keep going and doing the things that I do, and why y'all keep coming back and supporting and watching the show. And I think like a lot of times you need that encouragement. Like when people are like, you know what, I may not say it often enough, I'm watching your stuff. I like what you do. I admire what you do. And I see the potential and I want to invite you out of things and have you write about what's going on. So the people see it. But sometimes I think we need that encouragement, or we need people to say it a lot more for us to feel like, okay, what I'm doing is valid. That's all. You know, we go through our things. Like I hear from friends of mine who work in the entertainment business all the time. Not necessarily in my field, but they do other things, be it photography, filmmaking, whatever the case is. They have those same issues. They have those same thoughts and insecurities. I just want to put it out there. Like sometimes it ain't appreciated, but then every now and again, you know, people will slide up in my DMs on social media and they will say, I love what you do. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep at it. So those encouraging words is what keeps me going. So I appreciate all of you who have been staunch supporters, new and old, who come back every week or every time I post something and y'all, you know, say what y'all say. So I love y'all. Anyway, let's move on. Let me stop, you know, with the sentimentalness. So let's get into Marlo's peach thirsty ass. Because apparently this lady loves attention. So while appearing on Access Hollywood, she and Sheree Whitfield spilled tea about what we can expect for the upcoming that I have production with. We'll get to that one in a second, but I want to set up this one and then I'll have you roll the other clip where she was going in on Kandi about something else. So they appeared on Access Hollywood, and they were talking about Sheree and Marlo, and they basically were going in on Kandi, saying that Kandi doesn't want to talk about all the negative stuff in her life. She only wants to talk about the good parts. And I'm like, I don't know what show y'all been watching a part of, but Kandi's always been transparent and open about her personal life. You know, the shit with her and Block, who is Riley's biological father. The shit that she was going through when she married Todd, who was who worked behind the scenes on the Real Housewives of Atlanta before they became official, and he had to quit to become talent because you can't work behind the scenes and be hunching the talent on the show. So he had to make a decision. He became part of once you start dating one of the cast members, now you are talent. You got to be on camera and you got to show that part of your life. And the drama with her and her mother, and Mama Joy is not liking Todd. So we saw this stuff play out. Plus, we've been seeing things going on over the years with Kandi and Escape recently with that reality show, and SWV and them going on tour. We've talked about that on the show. So Kandi has never hidden parts of her life from anybody. From as far as I know, we've been at the whole sex dungeon talk, where they said that was planted by Carlos King thirsty ass. And they planted, and then he ran with that bone and told it to Phaedra and had her run with it. And then Phaedra and Portia and that mess. So the clip that we have is something different. You can see that other one on my website that I was telling y'all about. But the one where she basically went in on and tried talking about Kandi's parenting skills. And all this stemmed because people was talking about the fact that what Marlo did last season was she was taking care of her nephews because her sister, I believe, is mentally unstable and a drug addict. I think her sister has schizophrenia or something like that. And the two sons that her sister had, she can't raise them. So Marlo took them in. But then when things got a little too difficult for her with the nephews, she basically was like, I need a break, and pawned them off on her other sister who has kids of her own. It's because she needed a break. And it wasn't like a weekend. It was like literally 30 days. And this hoe up in here trying to rewrite history. Anyway, let's play the clip and then we'll come back with the rest of the show.
Yes. Sometimes I just need a break.
Right.
So I felt that was awful. I felt some of the girls knew exactly what I meant because they're moms. And I know for sure a lot of them are never hardly with their kids. They have full-time nannies. And sometimes they need a break. We all need breaks sometimes. Shit, we need breaks from our husbands, from our jobs. You need a break sometime.
Right.
So it's just, I feel it's just the way I phrased it. If I would have phrased it and said, hey, you guys, this is really tough. Well, I never know when it comes to this group of girls. If I would have phrased it right, they probably still would have got after me.
Yeah, I do feel like I remember kind of Kandi saying something like, I've taken in, relatives before and I would never do that. And again, it's just like
Kandi does not. Yeah. You never see her with her kids 24/7. She always pays. She has a whole slew of family that helps her. So it's coming from Kandi didn't mean that much to me, not unless I saw her with her children every day. I mean, she's too busy trying to get another bag. She doesn't have time to spend quality time with her kids.
Okay, girl, and this is where I take issue with her because I feel like the one thing you don't do when it comes to children is kids, in my opinion, should be off limits. I don't think that you should be bringing up children to make your point or to deflect from your own shit, which was how you refuse to take responsibility for the fact that, yeah, you pawned your nephews off on your other sister, who had probably her own issues with her own kids. So now she got 2 more mouths that she got to feed and 2 more issues she got to deal with. And to me, that plays into their trauma because they've already have abandonment issues from their mother. So here come their aunt, who they think is going to be their knight in shining armor. And then you pull this because you were too stressed out, because you couldn't handle it. And I don't understand why there's this narrative that everybody wants to come after Kandi because she trying to secure a bag. She trying to do it. Because she a businesswoman and she's smart. That she's always got these ideas. She's always on to the next thing and securing bags and this, that, and the third. Didn't she get a KFC commercial for her son Ace? Which I don't even know how Marlo didn't get the KFC. Wasn't y'all sharing the bucket of chicken from the finale last year when y'all went to, where would they go to, Jamaica? They shared a bucket of chicken, or Marlo bought a bucket of chicken and gave Kandi some chicken. So I don't understand how, like, I understand what it is. It's like every season you want to find a reason to come after Kandi. Kandi's a hoe. Kandi's, this and Kandi's that. You got all these different things talking about what Kandi is. But it's like, bitch, what are you doing with your life besides selling knockoff outfits for famous people with Le Archive, with your ass spelled wrong? L-E apostrophe. Ain't no damn L-E in no French. It's L apostrophe archive. So Marlo was a dingbat, and that's why the people call her Marlo, as in M-A-R-L-O-W, because there is no low. That heifer won't stoop, to secure that rotten ass peach of hers. And it's getting tired. You call her irrelevant, you call her a bad mother, you call her a hoe, you said her husband leeches off of her. Your antics towards Kandi has become tired and late, in my opinion. Also, like I said, you should not be criticizing somebody's parenting skills after what you did with your nephews. And my thing is this: it takes a village to raise a child, and if Todd and Kandi have the coin to employ a nanny or to have Ace and don't they have another baby that I could have sworn that she has? I think it was via surrogate. If Mama Joyce is around to raise the babies while Kandi's running off doing this, that, and the third, producing plays and stuff, then I don't think it's an issue. Now, I'm sure, like, if there are situations where kids miss their parents, and there's that guilt that parents have when it comes to their children, I don't see why you feel the need to come at her that way. That is something that the kids going to have to deal with when they get older. It's like, and I believe Riley mentioned that. So I'm sure Kandi's doing much better with how she, hangs with her children and spends quality time with them. So for Marlo to jump on this, I feel like this is something with her. She's trying to do whatever she can to maintain that rotten ass peach. Sheree, your days is done, but I feel like this will be your last season. You really don't have a storyline. Because I'm not buying that fake ass romance storyline with you and Martell. Martell, to me, is from Love and Marriage Huntsville. That show created by that leech and opportunist, Carlos King. So I feel like that she's going to do whatever she can to maintain her peach. Because how many times has she been hired and fired off the Real Housewives for being boring? This will be the third time she came back. Well, the first time she was a part of the show, left, then came back and left again. And then maybe, 2-3 seasons ago, they brought her back. So it'll be like the third time she's been part of the show, but the second time she left and came back. But to me, it's like, if you don't address the drama that happened around that finale with them Sheen outfits that you pass over She by Sheree, or as I like to call Shit by Sheree, if you don't address that, I don't want to hear it. You tried it with that fake ass storyline with you in the prison bay, where he didn't want to film with you, because he was probably tired. Once he got out of jail, he was probably like, you know what? I have no use for this donkey anymore. Because I'm not on the books anymore. You don't have to send me food or money or whatever the case is. You know how these prison men are when they get these gullible ass women? And I believe Martell has got, following the same pattern. He needs one of them gullible ass housewives who's thirsty for a storyline. Nobody else probably wanted to film with us, so Sheree went along and was like, yeah, okay, if it's going to keep me on for another year, then we can sit around here and pretend that we're a couple. But I don't get couple from them. And quiet as it's kept, nobody's watching Love and Marriage Huntsville over on OWN. I don't even know what OWN is on my damn TV. So I feel like what y'all need to do is focus on how y'all gonna maintain y'all shit and figure out what y'all gonna do to keep y'all selves going on this franchise and stop over trying to come for Kandi, who is literally now, I feel like, the queen of the franchise. I would say Kandi, but Kandi herself down, for the past couple of seasons. Before, she was just real aggressive with trying to make her mark. But I feel like Kenya, she's kind of like falling back a little bit. So I need the girls to bring it this season. And I've seen that they've gone and put out all the stops in regards to the promoting the Housewives. I saw the new opening where it's kind of like very much like the old, it kind of had like this old 1920s Renaissance type of vibe. Like with the zoot suits and all that other stuff. So I did like that. So they definitely put some coin into promoting this show. And I'll definitely be tuning in when it comes on next week. Next Sunday, I believe. Which I believe is the 7th. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, because since we're all on the Real Housewives, let's go from Atlanta to Jersey. Where last week I reported a story from All About the Real Housewives, where, that Joe Gorga revealed that his niece advised him to leave his wife, Melissa Gorga. Now, the accusation caused reunion host Andy Cohen to call Gia, who is Teresa's daughter, who was sidebar in California, I believe, to attend Coachella, to set the record straight. She denied the accusations and opted to tell her side of the story on social media. Now, shout out to Reality Blur for the story. So now the recent drama began when Joe and his wife Melissa skipped Teresa's wedding. As of now, the details behind their decision are still murky, though the current season is slowly leading up to the finale, during which an explosive fight reportedly occurs. Now, according to a report from All About the Real Housewives podcast, shared by Giorgio Says on Instagram, Joe claimed Gia called him on the phone and told him to leave Melissa. The call allegedly took place 1 or 2 days before Teresa's wedding. The podcast reported that Andy got involved, calling Gia at the reunion to ask about allegations with which Joe accused in a confessional. Well, discussed, I'm sorry. That's what he said. Gia denied saying this, but she admitted to calling Joe, but she only called him to beg him to attend the wedding. The podcast host slammed Joe as trash and a hypocrite for bringing up his niece in this way. Amid the podcast episode, Gia reacted on social media, saying thank you to the host. Sad that I have to be brought up in a bad light, added the college student, and have to defend myself to Andy and others. Now, if you want to hear the clip from that Giorgio Says posted on social media, that's Frank Ocean and Joe Budden. I'm talking about Gia Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Anyway, so if y'all want to hear that that clip, you can definitely go over to chrisavalon.com to check that out. But I will say this. I was feeling like when I was reading the article from All About the Real Housewives, I do feel like that website, although y'all are juicy with your tea, and I love that y'all get the exclusives and things, I do feel like that it's very much an anti-Joe and Melissa and very pro-Teresa. And every little thing Teresa does, y'all are all behind it. And I have a problem with that. I feel like a lot of times, if you're going to talk about people on these shows, y'all need to be fair. And Teresa's no safe. So I will say, for that last episode that I watched, when they were in Ireland for Teresa's bridal, it was like a going away bridal shower type thing, where Dolores took all the women to Ireland because she's dating an Irishman, and they got to meet his family and all that other stuff, which was great. I did like the heartfelt moment where they were like, they got in the mud and then they started talking about things and they started drawing things on the wall about, Teresa's, life story whenever she grew up in Italy and they came over to America and, all this at the flipping of the table and all the other stuff. So I like they drew "This Is Your Life" all over the wall, which was cute. But then I saw there was a moment where Teresa and Melissa were kind of like getting together, and I like that. I'm like, finally, we're getting to the things. But then when you started hearing the stuff that was happening outside the show, and it's like, well, fuck, we know how it ends. Melissa and her husband are not talking to Teresa and that whole situation. Joe didn't go to the wedding. Melissa didn't go to the wedding. But then when Teresa was starting to pull these little things where it's like, oh, I wanted to have Gino and Tonya and all the other people in the wedding. And they're like, so do you want to have them in the wedding? No, I don't want to have them in the wedding, but I was thinking about it. I was like, well, then why bring it up? Because now you're trying to like string me along or you want to have this moment. But I feel like between the both of you, Melissa wants to let things go, but she has a hard time trusting Teresa because Teresa will say one thing and then do another. And pull away and be like, well, yeah, I had this heartfelt moment, but I can't let go of the past. And I hate you so much of all these little things that's going on that both of y'all on both sides are extremely stubborn and you don't want to let the past go to be like, you know what? Let's wipe the slate clean. Let's let bygones be bygones. And as a family, work on our stuff. Don't bring the children into it. The cousins should always kind of like be around and love each other and all this other stuff. And then you try to work on your thing. But I understand how family dynamics work. They're just unfortunately family members who ain't shit. And you try to work things out with them, but they only think about themselves. Or they do mean or selfish ass things. So it's unfortunate. But I don't like the fact that if it's true that Joe went and said that, oh, well, Gia told him to leave his wife. That if you start to drag in your niece, I don't know, I think his goddaughter's Melania. But you don't drag people into something and it's not the truth. I know y'all didn't want to go to the wedding because you felt like it was fake and it's another, but then also Teresa, you know what, you threw salt in the wound too. You started inviting Jennifer and her husband to be a part of the wedding. I get Jennifer. She's a ride or die. She's going to kiss your ass regardless of what you do. She's going to be Team Teresa no matter what. So it makes sense to have her in the wedding. But why would Bill be a part of Louis' situation when you only knew him for a short amount of time? That didn't make no sense. But you didn't want to include Melissa. And so it always felt like when you would bring up the wedding and you were bringing all these other people into the wedding, it felt like it was a dig. It didn't feel authentic. And I'm like, if you about some shit, be about some shit. Like, stand behind your decisions. But to me, it's like you try to move funny in a lot of stuff. So, I don't know. I feel like both sides are wrong in a lot of situations. Both sides can be pretty vile. Y'all do a lot of the tit for tat. I really wish as siblings, y'all can get along and work it out. But, unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, so let's move on. And now we can get to the Joe Budden and Frank Ocean story. So a lot of people have something to say about Joe Budden. I mean, not Joe Budden, about Frank Ocean. I already gave y'all my opinion on him. I've always said that Frank Ocean, I don't know what y'all see in him. I feel like he's overrated. I feel like I mean, when I watched the clip of them talking about it on Joe Budden's podcast, I think it was like a 15-minute clip, because now all of a sudden he got so many damn people that's a part of the show. I even think he got what was her name that I said before? Melissa Ford. I think now he got her, who used to work with Jason Lee over at Hollywood Unlocked. She's a part of Joe Budden's podcast. So now that they got like 4 dudes and her. So now they got 5 or 6 people that's a part of like this podcast panel. But anyway, Frank, he basically called, I call him the new Joanne the Scammer. So in the latest episode of the Joe Budden podcast, shared on Tuesday, April 25th, Budden shared his candid opinion on Frank Ocean. The R&B singer became a trending topic after his debut headlining Coachella set received mixed reviews, and he dropped out of the second weekend citing an injury. Frank Ocean is a scammer, said the host. He's a scammer for the way he got out of his Def Jam Universal contract. I think most of the scams are genius. He'll always wear the scammer tag for me. That effed up a lot of artists. He didn't care. Lost a lot of artist revenue streams. Took Apple out of the game. He didn't care. Now, for what people don't understand what he's talking about, what he's saying is there was a thing, and he mentioned this on the show. The Def Jam deal was this. So Apple approached him to do a specific album for Apple Music. He had one more album left on his contract with Universal, Def Jam. So, and I'm sure it was a lot of money that was in that deal that he did. But basically, the Apple deal was the album that he was going to work on would go exclusively to music, and he would release, they would have first dibs on the album. He recorded an album for Universal that was supposed to be part of the contract. The next day, he released an album with Apple Music. So now you got these 2 albums on 2 different platforms fighting for some situation, and he ran off with the money. Which down the road, now when other people want to do when Apple want to do exclusive deals with other artists, now they had to come at it from a different angle because Frank Ocean was on some slick shit. He tends to do this a lot when it comes to not giving a damn about the people that put a lot on the line for him in the music. To me, I think all he wants to do is just make his little records, and that's it. I don't think he wants to tour. I don't think he wants to be out in public. I just think he wants to just make music, drop the album, and go about his merry way and make his little money. Just like he tried to scam y'all with this shit over at Coachella. Y'all know damn well y'all wasn't going to get no, Kanye West. Now, say what you want about Kanye, but Kanye will give you a show. That he wasn't going to give you no real extravagant type of performance. Yeah, you had ice skating ring, roller skating ring that you had put out there. I don't know what you was planning on doing with all them people. First of all, do you have enough tracks that could have had them out there really like moving and grooving to his music? I could never really get into him. Just like a lot of people praise SZA. I don't see the appeal of her either. This new wave type of R&B, this is just not my zhuzh. It really isn't. But anyway, so that's where that came from. So Budden continued to target the blonde performance controversial Coachella moment, saying, "I'd smack the ish out of you," continuing, "What the F are you talking about, you effing idiot? Everybody is here for your stupid ass who ain't put out music in ages, and you can't even confirm if there's new music coming. The arrogance of this N-word, yo, or these N-words, yo." So it's like, you ain't even let people know if you was working on new music. You just wanted to get out there promoting your old stuff. Like, it just seems like he just wanted to, they offered him $8 million. He saw this as an opportunity, and he just scammed they all like he did with them albums. Nova King Singer's set during Coachella 2023 opening weekend was reportedly an hour late. He did, however, perform a 90-minute set, including more than a dozen songs. Ocean also dedicated his show to his late brother, who was killed in 2020 during a car accident at the age of 18. Now, according to a press statement, the 35-year-old was unable to return for the second performance due to an injury that occurred at festival grounds ahead of the first weekend. Now, if you had 2 fractures and a sprain in your left leg, and your doctors advised you not to perform, shouldn't you have, pulled out before you decided to do the show? Or even so, why not just stand there or sit in a chair with the boot on your foot and perform your hits while the roller skating ring people skating around you or whatever? That's what you could have did. You still give it a show. But I feel like you didn't want to do it, and you used that foot injury as an excuse. But like I said, I don't understand this whole generation, because I feel like a lot of y'all don't have it anymore, because I be feeling like, a lot of y'all don't have that ethic or y'all don't be giving it what needs to be given, like a Beyonce or a Pink or Madonna or Usher. Y'all get a goddamn hangnail and y'all want to, cancel a performance. And no, you don't have to believe me, because Diplo was even co-signing. Because he said Coachella's around to booking great headliners. Now, super producer and DJ Diplo says that he was unimpressed with Coachella and feels that the festival has a hard time booking headliners. Now, the solo artist, DJ, and songwriter who has written and produced hits for stars including Beyonce, Madonna, Britney Spears, and Justin Bieber, shared his opinion of the 2023 installment in a new interview. Now, according to Diplo, while the most recent headline acts, including Bad Bunny and Blackpink, are cool, they can't be compared to previous headliners, including Red Hot Chili Peppers and Daft Punk. Saying, I think I'm a little too old for Coachella, he told The Hollywood Reporter. This is the oldest I've ever felt at Coachella. It's really fun. I love going out. I love going with the general population and seeing new bands, but it's just too much. I think they honestly might be having a hard time booking headliners. There's not much left. We kind of left the era of great superhero acts like the Red Hot Chili Peppers or Daft Punk. Now they book acts like Bad Bunny and Blackpink, who are cool, but they're just the most top 40 there is. It's almost like they're stadium acts. Now, both Red Hot Chili Peppers and Daft Punk have accumulated numerous top 40 hits throughout their respective careers and embarked on a variety of stadium tours as well. Explaining why he thinks the festival organizer may be struggling to book acts he deems worthy of the headline slot, Diplo also stated that he believes there's not a lot of really culturally relevant new acts around at the moment. Saying, I saw Labyrinth. That was amazing. I think that represents real Coachella. He's part of the zeitgeist, but the rest of it just feels like they had to scramble to find things that were culturally touchstones, but also could bring a crowd in. I think I once said on Jimmy Fallon, Coachella is the influencer survivor. This year felt like that more than ever. Headliners for this year's Coachella also featured Frank Ocean, who performed his first set in 6 years at the first weekend and was replaced, as y'all know, by Blink-182, who recently reunited at the second weekend and suffering an injury. Saying, this is what Diplo also said, he doesn't really care about his fans to give them a concert. Sharon his take on Ocean's canceled set. It was a show where the ice rink didn't work, and that's all it needs to be. He has one of the best voices I've ever heard. I really think he just doesn't really care about shows. I think that's Coachella's fault. Now, earlier this year, Diplo's real name was Thomas Wesley Pence, clarified his response. And it also talks about the whole Beyonce thing, so on and so forth. Other people who performed, Zendaya made a surprise performance. That her first performance at 8 years with Labyrinth. Dave Grohl made a cameo appearance with Wet Leg, and Bjork, performed with 800 drones around her. And I have to say, you know what? I agree with I agree with Coachella. I agree with Diplo. I agree with Diplo. I feel like maybe, I used to do the whole festival circuit. I did Ozfest. I did all the festival circuits when I was a kid, in the 2000s and the 2010s. Like I did all the festival things. And maybe it does come with age. Maybe we have outgrown the thing. I did watch a lot of the Coachella channel, like it was 6 channels. I watched on YouTube a lot of the performances, and I kind of agree. I felt like that there aren't a lot of really good, memorable acts that get up there and really give a show. Gone are the days when we had like those, who was the next generation? Beyonce, Usher, Pink, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, where are those bands? I feel like America's kind of turned their back on rock and roll bands too. People playing real instruments and stuff. Like, I feel like that era is a bygone one. The era of like the Corns and the Limp Bizkits and the Linkin Parks and all that stuff. The new metal. Like, they don't really embrace rock on the American music charts anymore. Now it's all about hip hop and some DJ who just stands there playing beats. To me, that's not entertaining. Like, that's what I love about nightclubs, is that the lights and the strobe lights and everything is going, and the green screen, and everybody's high and the music's going, but I'm sitting there like at watching the Coachella channels, and they've got DJ sets in broad daylight, and people just stand there with their phones recording as the music's playing. I'm like, y'all think this is entertaining? I'm bored. And then what sucks is the fact that a lot of the DJ mixes are the length of TikTok videos. Y'all, the song is like 2 minutes, like not even 2 minutes before y'all blend into the next track. So it's like y'all just playing clips. I just feel like the way DJs are operating now with music has changed so much. The attention span of the people. So I wish that we had like a time where the industry, the music industry, festival, all that stuff, really invested the time in talent, and people really give it the art of performance. Like, I feel like the last really good Coachella performance was Beyonce, where she got up there and not only did she give you a concert, but she gave y'all culture. HBCU, she was like, I'm going to use that as my influence. Have a real, marching band up there playing the, doing versions of my songs, incorporating a lot of that HBCU Black college culture. Well, HBCU is historic Black college, so what was I saying? But that whole HBCU culture, and just say, so it's like, I'm gonna educate, and entertain you with the music. So, shout out to Diplo. I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you're just so old," and the third. He hasn't made no qualms about the fact that he is a man, that he's a man of a certain age. But here's the thing: he's a DJ. He's been there, done that. He's played Coachella. He plays, stadiums and festivals all around the world. So yeah, it gets old after a while. But y'all gotta stop making excuses for mediocrity. Just because somebody is a genius in certain situations don't necessarily mean that y'all always need to just excuse their shitty ass behavior. And y'all should not allow someone like a Frank Ocean to get away with the stunts that he be pulling because y'all like Nostalgia Ultra and all them other little, all the other little genius records he put out. Anyway. Let's move on and talk about a possible versus between Lil' Kim and Nicki Minaj. So, Swizz Beatz recently appeared on the episode of The Breakfast Club and was asked if fans would get to see the rap rivals go head-to-head in his and Timbaland's competition series. He said, "I can't say it yet," while acknowledging that it is not out of the realm of possibility. It's been almost a year since the last verses with DJ Nelson and Looney Tunes in July of 2022. Damn, it's been almost a year since y'all dropped a versus. Now, I know there was a situation that happened between Timbaland and Swizz, and their legal battle with Triller, which I heard they resolved the case. So now I guess versus is coming back. Now, like Looney Tunes, DJ Nelson, I wrote them. So they are pioneers in the reggaeton movement. They produce a lot of hits for a lot of your favorite artists. So they've done, they work with everybody from Daddy Yankee on down to Bad Bunny. And, so anybody who is anybody in the reggaeton, music scene, Looney Tunes has been behind, producing a lot of stuff. They're basically like the Timbaland and of the reggaeton industry. Anyway, but Swizz said it would be worth the wait. He said, just know that if you're going to wait this long for verses, it's going to definitely be worth the time. This is what he teased. He said, if anything people know about me, if I'm being quiet, things are happening. Well, you're not really that quiet because you're revealing stuff that's going on behind the scenes. You just should have said, I cannot confirm or deny and keep moving. That's you not really saying anything. Now, there's been chatter about Nicki Minaj and Lil' Kim doing a versus since last year. Now, in March 2022, Nicki said that she would entertain a potential battle. I do think there might be a female or two, she told Houston's 97.9, The Box. And also, while speaking with Joe Budden, he suggested that only Kim and Missy Elliott could go up against her. It's just Kim and Missy and maybe Lauryn Hill. Well, I don't know if you could do Lauryn Hill. First of all, Lauryn Hill is a one-album wonder. I don't know why y'all keep trying to pawn Lauryn Hill on everybody. She got one album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. How is that album going to go up against Nicki Minaj? And yes, she did the album with the Fugees, but that's a group album. That is not a solo album. Now, I think for the culture, I would love to see a Lil' Kim, Nicki Minaj versus. I don't know how you would make it work because Lil' Kim and Nicki Minaj musically are different. Nicki is a little more verse when it comes to a lot of her style. She's done the pop. Lil' Kim has done pop stuff too, but her music has always kind of been rooted in hip hop. She's done those catchy songs, but Nicki has definitely gone pop. Like a lot of the songs people always say that they don't like of hers, like Starships and all the other stuff, those are like her most popular songs. So for the culture, I would like to see it, but do I feel like it should happen? I don't know, because some of y'all stands be out of pocket. Like, and on both sides. I don't know who's worse. Well, probably the bars would probably be worse with it. But for the most part, it's like, I don't know. I would love to see this for the culture so that way it could shut the stands the fuck up and stop always trying to have these women rival each other so y'all can finally put the shit to bed. It could be like a logical situation where we're both sitting there or we're, sitting as fans of the music and hip hop culture, enjoying these two women coming together with no fighting, no beef, none of that, and really enjoying doing what needs to be done musically. But it's hard to do that when you got the oh my gosh, today is just one of those days. But anyway, back to us. Because the show's almost over. And this shit want to act up. But anyway, I would love to see, quite as kept, I would love to see, I know, and this thing is just working my root canal nerve. But 2 more damn stories we got. So anyway, so I'm loving, I love the idea. Personally, I would love to see a collab between, or verse between Kim and Foxy, but there's way too much history there between those two. They can't stand each other, and I don't think that'll ever happen. But if y'all can figure out a way to choose which songs can go head to head, even though their musical styles is vastly different. A lot of people compare Nicki and Kim because of the aesthetics, the clothes, the Barbie thing. Because Little Kim did Barbie first, Little Black Barbie dressed as Bulgari, and then Nicki Minaj came out with the Barbie thing. So there's a lot of history with that. But if they can figure out a way to kind of make a lot of the pick which songs will go up against which song, then I'm here for it. Anyway, let's move on. Almost at the end of the road. I can see it from here. Now, Drag Race UK Season 4 winner Danny Beard is sick of people making comments about Sam Smith's physique. Now, shout out to Attitude for this story. Now, singer Sam Smith has been facing criticism for their physical appearance during their Gloria tour, which is currently postponed due to illness. The star has also been subjected to increasing fatphobic and transphobic comments over their I'm Not Here to Make Friends video. Now, Danny told Attitude in an exclusive interview, I'm kind of sick as a bigger queer of seeing this trash about Sam Smith and having people on radio shows and crappy news channels that are full of Tory wankers debating whether Sam Smith should be able to perform with their top off at their own concert. Now, Beard, who is currently touring their own solo singing show, added, when Lady Gaga or Madonna or Maddie Healy from the 1975 do weird shit, no one says anything about kids. It's always this weird rhetoric about what about the children. Not all entertainment is for children. Not every film is made for children. We don't say, let's ban all films around the world because some of the films are pornographic. It's not how it works. Now, people are saying, let's ban drag, and it's just ridiculous. I'm so pleased that Sam isn't bowing down. According to Divide Critics, Sam told fans during the London leg of their Gloria tour, this show is about many things, but at its core, it's about freedom. Attitude reviewed the event, calling it the next chapter in their voyage of queer liberation. And maybe that's what it is that Sam is working out, is that, Sam is using this show as a way to not only liberate their fans, but themselves. But I don't know if it's, my thing is that I have with this whole situation, it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like this is Sam. Like, I feel like, I'm not saying that the old crooner standing there singing, sad love songs was Sam either. I'm sure that those are pieces of who Sam was or is. But, as people, we evolve. But I just felt like sometimes when artists are being provocative, it's not just Sam Smith. It's a lot of people, a lot of artists I've noticed over the years. It always felt like y'all were trying too hard to force it. Because I remember when Christina Aguilera during the Dirty era, I always felt like she was trying to be forceful with I'm not a Disney cookie cutter type of pop star. So I'm going to come out half naked with chaps on, with, a thong up my butt, twerking. And I'm going to give y'all all this stuff. There's a lot of artists that have done it over the years. I even thought Miley Cyrus was overcompensating when she did the Bangers era. There's a lot of artists that I always feel like it doesn't feel authentic when y'all doing it. Y'all trying to do it because y'all feel like when you're trying to break away from that cookie cutter image, that I need to go from zero to the extreme with things. So I'm here for what Danny Beard had to say. I love Danny Beard on the season of Drag Race UK. I'm going to be honest. I've had a hard time getting through all the seasons of Drag Race UK. The only one I watched fully was Danny Beard's season, because I think they had a really good crop of queens that season, and it was a really entertaining show. Another thing I think they need to do with the UK version, y'all need to figure out a way to financially compensate these queens, because I don't think it's fair that y'all got them pulling so much money to do these shows, but they don't get money. They get a damn repeater badge. What the hell is that? They should be able to get financially compensated like on these other reality shows or spin-offs of Drag Race where they make a profit from doing these shows. So, or these type of reality shows. So good luck, Sam. I'm sure, I'm definitely curious to hear what people are going to say when they make their New York stop, because I believe they have 2 dates at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if the second one sold out. I know the first one did. I know everybody went and ate up them damn Jessie Ware concert tickets. I was so bad about that. I think Saturday is still available, but because she's going to be at Terminal 5. But yeah, Jessie Ware dropped that album on Friday, and bitch, the gays went and snagged up all them damn tickets. But anyway, I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel. Yeah, I know. I don't like the idea that the BBC doesn't allow financial compensation to the queens over on Drag Race. So that's what irritates me about them. So I'm hoping, shout out to Victor Yates, who was at the building, who stepped up and commented on that. So that's what irritates me about this, is the fact that they have that happening. So I'm hoping with this new transition to MTV, that if there is I think there is an MTV well, everybody has a goddamn MTV. MTV is worldwide. That should the show move from the BBC to MTV in the UK, that loophole will allow the girls to get financial compensation, because that's crazy that I got to spend all these thousands of pounds to be on a show and I'm spending money for nothing. So now let's get to our final topic, which is Lance Bass. So, me growing up, I was an NSYNC fan and I was also a Backstreet Boys fan. So I had to come in and bring this as the closing story. So at the turn of the millennium, NSYNC was riding high as one of the biggest selling boy bands next to fellow rivals, the Backstreet Boys. But all the glamour surrounding the illusions of fame isn't all that it seems. Lance Bass, 43, recently appeared on Sirius XM's The Jess Cagle Show, and the former NSYNCer revealed that he made more money post-NSYNC than being in the band. Now, when host Jess Cagle asked Bass to share the best and worst parts about being rich and famous really young, the NSYNC singer gave a surprising answer. Well, the worst thing is people thinking that we were rich because we were not. Lou, as in Perlman, took all of our money. We were famous, but we were not rich. I made way more money after NSYNC than I did during NSYNC. He, Perlman, really took a majority of all of our stuff, and the record label too. Horrible deals. But it wasn't all behind the scenes doom and gloom, as Bass shared his fondest memories with Justin Timberlake, J.C. Chasez, Chris Kirkpatrick, and Joey Fatone. To do that with those guys, it was incredible, and we had some of the best experiences ever. Obviously, it changed my life, led me to so many things I wanted to do in life, he said. And yeah, he's done a lot of things. He's married, he's got kids, he's got 2 clubs in LA. He's got he's got Rocco's, which when I lived in LA, I would always go by Rocco's in West Hollywood. And he's also got Heart, which, sidebar, I don't know if y'all heard, but the show Roscoe's, the Drag Race viewing party, because the premiere of Drag Race falls on the same weekend as DragCon, Naysha Lopez and Batty and the rest of them are going to be doing their special episode of Roscoe's viewing party from Heart, which is Lance Bass's club in West Hollywood. So I like what that Lance has found a way to move beyond, the whole music thing. He hasn't done music in a long time. He's become an entrepreneur of sorts. He's basically got I think he's becoming like the gay Lisa Vanderpump. So he's got a lot of his nightclubs and clubs and businesses and all that other stuff on the rise out there on the West Coast. So he's definitely doing his thing. And unfortunately, I hated the fact that there was this rival between NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys when I was growing up, and I kind of found out they were all relatively got along. I think it was just the people behind the scenes trying to get them to fight. And I saw this TikTok recently where it was like four members. I thought it was all NSYNC, but it was, I thought it was like the Backstreet Boys, actually. That's my bad. It was, who was it? I think it was Howie. No, who was it? I think it was Nick and AJ. And then it was Lance and Joey Fatone. And they started doing the choreography to Bye 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 on TikTok. It was cute. It took me a couple of watches to realize that it wasn't NSYNC. It was NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys together. And I feel like, you know what would be really cool? If Justin Timberlake doesn't want to come back to doing NSYNC, which I don't think will happen. I feel what needs to happen is, why not NSYNC, the members that's left, and the Backstreet Boys go on tour together, like a joint tour similar to Escape and SWV. And they basically just get up there and they trade turns singing each other's songs, because Justin ain't coming back. So you can have, you know, everybody come up there and just fill in his parts. I think that'd be a cool concert. It'd be a little nostalgic, similar to how people are feeling nostalgic for Kandi and, I mean, for Escape and SWV. Same thing could be happening with these groups. The 90s, 2000s generation. You can kind of see them get up there and do that, but they don't have to figure out how to make that work, because I think every last one of them in the groups are parents. They all got kids, so that's got to be interesting. But anyway, we're at the end of the show. So thank you all for watching. Technical difficulties and all. Thank you all for watching this week's episode. Tune in next week for another brand new episode of The Rundown. I am your host, Chris Avalon. Until next time, ciao, darlings. And those also who was in the comments chatting. Love you all for watching. And follow my social medias down below at the Chris Avalon.